Hi everyone, it's Stephanie here, and today I'm doing my second ever resin painting. I am using some acrylic paint, some opaque white pigment from Castin Craft, some ink, some spray paint from Rust-Oleum, and some black diamond mica powder as well. Thank you to Artist Till Death. I just love their YouTube channel for their recommendation on the Rust-Oleum gold spray paint as well as the Casting Craft white pigment. Okay, so I have my little Lazy Susan here, which will help me to turn the painting around and work on those drips. I'm also using graduated cups, which have the measurements right on them. And the resin I'm using is art resin, and it's a 1-to-1 ratio of resin to hardener. So you have to really make sure that you mix equal parts and that it's pretty exact, or else your resin will not cure properly. So I'm mixing into these 2 cups the resin and then the hardener in the other cup, and I'm going to be adding those 2 cups into my larger cup. Now each resin has a different way of doing it, so for some it may say to put the hardener first and then add the resin to that, or vice versa. So please make sure you read the directions for your particular resin. Now I'm going to be mixing this, and I'm not going to be whipping it or mixing it too fast. For the purposes of this video, it may look like I'm mixing it pretty fast, but I'm actually not. I'm sort of folding the resin and hardener together and going as not too slow but not too fast, and I'm mixing for 3 minutes in total. Your hands will get tired, at least mine does. I always get a little bit of a cramp in my hands, but I think the bigger sticks help with that. I picked up those sticks, I believe, at Home Depot for free in the paint section. And I'm also making sure I get the sides and the bottom as well. So this is a wood round, pine wood round that I bought from Etsy, and I have primed it with polyurethane. It's very important that you prime it. In retrospect, I should have primed and painted it because, as you will see, the colors are pretty transparent and you can see the wood still through the first layer of pigments. I've added some resin to the board and I'm heating it up so that when I add the colors, it's almost like they will float on the resin that's already there and move more easily. By the way, I am wearing a mask, and I'll link the mask that I'm wearing below, as well as all the pigments and the paints. And that really bright hot pink you see there on the side is a spray paint that I added at the last minute. It was not in the original shot in the beginning with all the other paints. For the acrylic paint, I'm only adding 10%. For the ink, a little bit more, but you really don't want more than 10% of paint to resin because then it gets mushy and stringy. Like I said, this is my second time, so there's this nervousness around making sure I don't run out of time because you with resin, or at least this resin, you have a 40-minute window, I believe, of working time. Some other resins are less, so you have about 40 minutes to work with it, and so I'm mixing as fast as I can and hoping I have enough time to do what I want to do. I'm also very nervous about messing it up. I'm just picking out any dust or hair that I'd see. And I'm just adding the colors where I think I want them, and then I'm going to use my blow dryer to move them around. Again, in retrospect, there are certain things I would do differently. I would probably use my heat gun. Even with the blow dryer on a lower setting, I felt it was a little too strong. So it didn't give me the control that I wanted. So in the end, I think the blow dryer really dispersed the paint and kind of blended the paint a little bit too much so that I didn't get enough contrast in the end. But that's what the second layer is for.